What's up, everyone? We are live. Super excited to have another Francesco here for the first time. And I would say, let's get it started. So, for the people here, welcome to this AI agent intelligence. We are exploring everything kind of AI agent in Web3. And yeah, for the people that doesn't know me, I'm Francesco. I'm leading developer relation at MetaMask and also part of MotorDAO. I'm super excited to actually speak about agent ecosystem and everything around yeah, from kind of like ecosystem builders, kind of challenges that we have with frameworks and kind of from low level to high level. Okay, so before we begin, a quick reminder for everyone, there is a chat on the right. You can ask any questions. And also we have our own Modern Discord. This is very high level for anybody that wanna build, that wanna create things. Feel free always to jump in and ask question in there. So welcome, Francesco. It's great to have you here. You want to quickly introduce yourself?
Nice to meet you, man, and nice to meet you to our audience. I'm Francesco. I'm the CMO of Tierra, and we're building an AI agent on Berachain. What does this AI agent do? It does 20x perpetuals, does some, I don't know, mega hyper leverage trading to make you rich? No, at least not yet. We have one big vision, is helping everyone in the Berachain ecosystem from 0 to 1 to understand and execute DeFi. So how the idea of these agents went, I'm no coder whatsoever. I'm actually like really shitty at codes. But there was a turning point when IDEs like Cursor, like Windsurf, started to onboard normal people that never had anything to do with code, and they made them almost like junior coder, basically from day zero. Now, at that point, we started to understand what's a good product market fit for the AI agents. Because right now in the market, we have different AI agents for basically everything. They trade between each other, they trade with other users, they collect tweets and share their opinion and wherever. So we started understanding what's a good product market fit and what's a real utility for a user base. And we stand with 2 points specifically. Our agents needs to have knowledge about the ecosystem and needs to help you using that knowledge with the ecosystem. So on a bit more of a low level, the first step is implementing a RAG model, this retrieval augmented generation. Let's bring it to a higher level first, and then we can go down
Yeah,
the more we
yeah.
continue the
I would
overall
love to
thing.
actually. Yeah, I would love to see a
So
demo, but question, Francesco. I just want to ask you, like, so what's kind of like the reason? I mean, I actually it's interesting to see it something on Berachain, but what kind of like was the problem that you were initially trying to solve with these agents for the people that listen to us?
basically, I've been in this space for almost 5 years now, and even myself, that I'm almost a pro or wherever at DeFi, always have a lot of friction on utilizing it actually. So every time, for example, I need to do a good developed strategy that could be first lending, net trying to swap and then pooling, then maybe do a bit of derivatives on perpetuals and wherever. I always see a huge friction on that. We are starting to taking care of UX right now in
Yeah.
general in the space with smart wallets, now with AI agents. And from that, uh, then the idea started like, how can I build another kind of front end, another kind of UI that makes easier for people to just use DeFi as it is, and some kind of add some kind of abstraction on a user level. That's the main point here. Because, for example, the overall plan is to build DeFi and let users utilize DeFi with just natural language. Saying to my
Makes
agent,
sense.
look, I have this pool, I have 7 out of 10 risk tolerance, I have 1,000 Bera, use them. How? It will tell you. Borrow here, then stake on Kodiak, for example, or on infrared, and then it tells you the APR. And even if you want that at one point, since we are talking with different smart wallets providers, it can rebalance your accounts for you, because thanks to session keys that we have right now, you can
Mm-hmm.
specify the amount of the wallet balance that your agent can actually touch, and he can do transaction on his own. So, for example,
Mm.
you can have 1,000 BERA staked, and every 7 days, a new pool with good APR on the same risk tolerance, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
just shifted a bit, and it can
Mm-hmm.
rebalance itself, basically.
Okay, very interesting. It makes sense actually. I think it's useful also for a lot of Asian consumer out there that will actually start or onboarding even DeFi. So before you walk us through kind of like the agent core functionality, what are kind of like is the tech stack in a nutshell? Are you guys kind of like spin everything through like Elisa or Eliza, how you want to pronounce it, or how was kind of
Mm,
like the journey on frameworks?
Now,
Yeah.
my developers don't like TypeScript. In fact, I'm the one building the UI, and also
Yeah.
I love Eliza and the whole like open source community around it. But we don't need to be like super in the trench developers to understand that Eliza has some really big limitations and some big problems right now. So we are using Python as
Mm-hmm.
main language right now. We are using a LangChain as main
Mm-hmm.
orchestrator. We are trying different frameworks right now. I fell in love with Crew AI. It's another level of abstraction on top LangChain,
Mm-hmm.
or I think they moved like 2 weeks ago from LangChain. But we are trying, for example, Pydantic AI. That's another framework that's
Mm-hmm.
built from the Pydantic team that they are like super OGs in the Python space. That's also something we are
Very
considering.
interesting.
So
Yeah.
right now it's just LangChain with custom tools
Yeah.
that we built ourselves for our specific needs. That's the overall
That's
framework.
very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, I was checking all the frameworks and I was seeing actually mostly all the people using Eliza, but then I'm asking myself for Python, especially Web2 developers come in the space for having this kind of like Web3 Rail, kind of like much more natural framework. I think the agent always been there, but the fact that where like people are coming to Web3 because of the nature of fetching data all the time, having transparency, literally building like DeFi architecture side, it's super useful. And and yeah, and I'm asking myself where are the frameworks and why there are no framework for Python for specific developers. But you kind of answered already
Yeah, the
the
thing is
question.
that there is no frameworks for Python is not exactly correct. You can use literally
Mm-hmm.
everything and just connect it
Mm-hmm.
with smart contracts at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Our connection with Kodiak is done through Python and through a LangChain tool.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
right now,
Mm-hmm.
I think TypeScript on Eliza is maybe the favorite choice for most people because it's also easy to be onboarded because most people know JavaScript. So moving to TypeScript is a bit easier. But still, I see tons of room to grow for also Python based framework that are
Yeah.
native
Yeah.
to crypto. Also, I think,
Agree.
and
Yeah.
don't quote me on that, but Eliza is actually
Yeah.
working on a Python version of their
Yeah.
framework.
Yeah. Yeah, especially now they're working with the 2.0. I also like heard Sean, and we will have him in the Y stream actually this week. I'm super excited to ask him question, but I think integration wise, it will be much more, yeah, basically like integration full also from different kind of technology, right? Also not just specific language specific, but also like integration from like stuff like push notification side to bridging across. I mean, I think like involving much more like cross-functional tooling, like layer zero. There is a bunch of interesting things that I think agent right now they need more than ever because if you're not deploying an agent that is cross chain right now, I think it's so I'm definitely interested to understand why Berachain, how everything kind of like got started there, and it's super interesting to see agents around yeah, just around kind of like something like Berachain because I think also the ecosystem is flourishing well.
I would lie if I say to you right now that is not for
Mhm.
FOMO, or at least it was a part for that. But it didn't
There's
start
a
like
way.
that at all. Like at the beginning, I think I know Berachain for 1 year and a half right now. At the start, I wouldn't
Hmm.
give them a cent, not even a
Hmm.
chance.
Hmm.
Then I
Yeah.
started to be onboarded in the community. I knew that Jack
Hmm.
Minig was passing to Berachain, is
Hmm.
their CTO, I think, right now. I went to events,
Yes.
I connected with Berachain people, and I really started to understand what's behind the funny meme brand that they have. a lot of super smart, like freaking smart people, 100% smarter than me, are building
Oh
there.
yes,
And
yes.
the overall ecosystem and inclusivity that you have on Berachain is amazing. I don't see
Hmm.
anything like that in other chains right now. So we had
Nice, nice.
multiple choices, but at the end, we really decided to start building on Berachain. One thing that we are considering with the team, to be very honest, it's 1 year, 2 years
Hmm.
from now, is to be
Yeah,
fully chain agnostic. Because what we are exploring right now,
yeah,
for
of course.
example, with layer 0 and the OFT standard, or wormhole has its own standard
Hmm.
too, is that I
Hmm.
see right now, and maybe some people are gonna be mad at me for us right now,
Hmm.
we don't have a Pareto superior
It's all
option
good.
for
Yeah,
cross-chain compatibility right
yeah.
now. We are just in a sandbox
Hmm. Yeah.
environment. We are trying new things. But
Yeah.
I told my team and my developers, once we are going to have a Pareto superior option where we can go cross-chain from day 0, we are going to implement it no matter what. So if layer 0 starts to implement every chain, every virtual environment, because right now it's mostly EVM, but started with other virtual machines, then we are going to move
Hmm.
all our standards to OFT. That's something that we are considering, heavily considering right now, because
Makes sense.
myself
Yes,
and the
yes.
whole team is super bullish on being fully cross-chain.
Nice, nice. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I think also building the standards. I'm definitely interesting to see not just the cross-chain compatibility, but when a agent building the same kind of like DeFi standards that you are pushing with your agent will need to interact with each other, and they're actually on other chains. It's interesting to see how these standards are built, how this framework are built, because right now, like we're always pushing human to agent technology, but it's interesting when actually like agent to agent technology, how this game will be played, especially on the framework side. But anyway, I would say let's deep dive, or let's actually see what this agent on Berachain is doing. You want to quickly share your screen
100%.
and show us a couple of demo?
So as I
Awesome.
was mentioning, can you guys
Thanks,
see my
Francesco.
screen? This is Bailu.fun. This is our agent.
Yes,
Let me just
we see it.
do it like this. So as I was mentioning, the agent has two main core functionality. The first one is the RAG model. So it basically you give him some docs to ingest, and he will learn, quote unquote, from those docs and will answer you based on those docs. So I can go here and say, for example, what's POL? That's proof of liquidity, the consensus mechanism that
Mhm.
Berachain currently is using, and it will start give you an answer on what's Paul. And let's just stream the
That's
answer.
interesting.
Also, don't quote me on that, but I think this is the streaming from IE SDK from Vercel. I love those kind of things. So
Oh
love my
yeah, yeah. We
developers.
were speaking about it. Yeah.
But if the agent stops here, that's not that fun. So one other thing to consider is the DeFi functionalities that we're implementing. As right now, it's just Kodiak, but since the mainnet launched last week, now we are just adding more and more functionalities as time goes. But I can say, for example, swap, let's see, one Vera to ETH. Let's see if it works. I mean, 90% of the 99% of the
Hmm.
time works, but when you do demos, never works. So you see here the
Yeah, demo
amount,
gods are never with you. Yeah.
you see the rapids in counterpart, and you see all the routing directly here. Kudos to my dev for the widget because I love this thing. So you confirm here. Let me bring my mobile because I have
Yes.
2FA, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if Coinbase is with us today. Give me one sec. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it. Excited, guys. This is the first live demo that we do. Let's
That's
fucking
so
go.
cool. So it was a good timing to invite you here, huh?
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
100%. Like you actually had the best timing because we launched this implementation, I think, last week.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, shout out to the mother team to actually organize this.
that's like the
Nice,
initial
nice.
vision. And all of you guys on stream, are you good with Python? I love more team members. So
Nice. That's a good call to action. There is also different. There is the Agentathon from Safe happening. The East Global Hackathon. I think it's closing up soon, but that's also good. And I mean, I need Denver coming also soon. I think there is even one vertical on agents too. But this is a cool talk to action. So what's next? What are you guys currently kind of developing under the hood to kind of expand the
Okay,
agent
on
here?
the RAG side, right now we are trying different crawlers because we got really, really cool shiny new shiny toys right now that are Firecrawl and Crawl for AI. Not sponsored, guys, but what those crawlers do, it's basically they give you an LLM ready output. So they give you Markdown, I think also JSON. Don't quote me on that. But what's the main problem with crawlers for all the people in live? Basically, usually when you crawl a website, you just go to the sitemap and basically scrape everything in the website, even things that you don't really need, like titles or wherever. One thing with those new tools that gives you a LLM ready outputs is that they give you Markdown, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
super nice check for people that works with LLMs, and
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
gives you relevant
Mm-hmm.
data because they scrape with the use of AI. What does it mean? It means that it goes through, for example, O3 mini high, and it says, is this data relevant? Yes, then output it. Is not relevant? No, trash it. And that's really
Mm.
important. It makes it a lot easier also for indexing, because if we give just a link, for example, I want to add Tierra docs there, but I need to crawl them every week or so because docs
Mhm,
have
mhm,
changes once in a while. With those tools specifically, you just set a cron job or wherever. That's my developer job to decide, and you crawl and index every page of the docs that you think is relevant. And that's super useful, almost a game
mhm,
changer for those kind of things. That's on the RAG side. On the
mhm,
DeFi side,
mhm,
right now we are working
mhm,
with my favorite Berachain projects. And if I'm not in your DMs, give me a DM to implement all the best pools and DeFi action that you can have. I cannot
mhm.
make spoilers because we are
Ah,
going to
nice,
announce them pretty soon. But uh,
nice. Give me so Ali, what? Yeah, what's the so how this kind of like DeFi does Bera has kind of some kind of like open API for like fetching like data? Because I have no idea, by the way, on the kind of like the DeFi side on the Bera chain today, like what actually is happening. I just want to understand also like how the agent is interacting with the ecosystem. Are you pulling all the data from fully kind of like Bera DeFi protocols, or is this kind of like fetching all the DeFi data from Aave and Next,
as of
or
right
what's
now,
the state
we
there?
are implementing only Berachain projects, and we are fetching the data directly from those projects. So we are working one-to-one with them
Hmm.
because you don't have
Hmm.
super easy access out of the box. So you need, for example, a custom call to the actual smart contracts that you are going to use right now.
Hmm.
So for every interaction and every connection that we are gonna do, like what we did with Kodiak, is just
Hmm.
working one to one with the projects. Also, for example, to implement
Hmm.
additional stuff upon it. So instead of having just a wrapper for a protocol that is still amazing on the UX side, but we can always do more. Is, for example, saying, look, we have a certain strategy that we want to implement, and we need 5 different protocols. Have a custom routing
Hmm.
and basically decide the percentage on each project. That's something that is going to be doable, as I was mentioning, once we have smart wallets directly integrated with the agent. That's something, as I was saying, we are talking with different providers. I don't know if I can mention them, but
No, no, yeah. Drop the alpha probably like
when it's going
when
to be the
they're
time, exactly.
yeah,
Uh, but
exactly.
right now,
That
the
sounds
the
good.
main idea behind it is basically with your EOE or with just a Google login or a passkey, give a smart wallet
Hmm.
to your agents, give them some kind of allowance, like a plafond of a credit card, and they
Hmm.
can spend it based on your natural language input.
That's very interesting actually. So you can do also like pre-training and training specifically. That's very, I think it's very also like useful for having much more vertical agents. I think that's kind of where the trend is going. That people are, we just saw like last week was this, I mean, as like this DevRel agent called Solange, and was basically like fork and pre-trained for like DevRel history chats, and was super interesting because like Solange was actually telling us like the builders of the agent was saying like we believe that we will be more vertical agents. There are specific
I
trainings,
fully agree
so
with
the
that.
value prop is obviously like the Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. So specifically training, but what else you think? What are the things that you see in the ecosystem happening right now? I mean, I think vertical agents is something that is happening right now. What do you think about standards? Have like the Barachain in mind, but you see also like the general AI agent sub vertical.
Okay, I think I lost you for the last like 10
Oh yeah,
seconds.
no,
Can
no.
you please
I'm
repeat?
just, yeah, yeah, of course. I'm just trying to understand, like, what is your take in terms of like, is the ecosystem evolving in the right direction for those agents builder? Because the reason why I was so interested in Modder was the fact that right now we are developing so many agents, forking so many agents that it looks like a bit like the World Wide West, similar to kind of DeFi Summer with DEXs. You remember
Yeah, I
that,
feel you.
coffee
100%.
DEX, matcha decks, everything was happening. And without pure kind of social of agents, we will not be able to kind of defend the rights to the agent consumer to really understand what is happening.
Uh, Guys, in the meantime, uh, are you bullish on Barachain? Send
You
a comment or
probably,
something. Man,
oh,
I
is
think we
it?
lost you for a moment.
Oh, really? Okay, okay. No, I'm just saying that the ecosystem is all evolving so fast. We don't want to have kind of the World Wide West, and we want to see basically social attestation for agents. I think that's the most important
I
part.
totally feel what you're saying.
Mhm,
And the initial part of the question, if the
mhm.
ecosystem in general
Oh yeah.
is going in a good direction, that I don't know. I would prefer not to answer that because it's not a super positive response. On the agent side,
Yes.
it's still not super positive from what I'm
Mhm,
saying from the
mhm,
space right now,
mhm,
because there is a lot of copy pasta. There is a lot
mhm.
of just low effort copy paste, in fact.
Yes.
But we are moving through a really good direction.
Yes.
That direction is real good user experience, a real onboarding from Web2 people. I'm seeing it also on the agent side. What we are doing right now, as you said, is like all the Wild West is true, and it's gonna be true for every trend in DeFi. But us in the DEX space, where basically Uniswap V3, then V4, Aerodrome from the Solidly model started to be some kind of there be like some kind of consensus that they are the
Mhm,
best models. Also,
mhm,
like the markets for like for Trader Joe. I hope
mhm,
I'm not forgetting like the all the best access, but
mhm,
we are gonna reach a consensus also on the AI agent side, because what I see right now is like price discovery but with utility. We are having utility discovery on the AI agent side. I don't see anything that right now, for example, could be sponsored by Y Combinator or wherever. I don't see like something that blows my mind. And when this is gonna happen is when I see something that I cannot reproduce, let's say in 4 weeks. Right now, maybe I'm a bit biased.
mhm,
Maybe I am a bit uneducated, because this
mhm,
could be as well. But what I see right now as uh, agents that have, for example, a humongous market cap
mhm.
is just copy paste of other agents, and that have really low utility, and
I agree.
people
Yeah.
don't really do basically anything with that.
Yeah.
So that's, for example, one thing that I continuously say to my team is that if we need to make something just to go viral, then I don't want to be a part of it. I want stuff to be simple, but most importantly, to be useful. If they're not going to be useful, that's not my product.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I agree with that, and that's why like the only way for kind of like salvaguarding the fact that people are just forking with the sake of forking is having social graphs on those agents and understanding, having kind of public attestation registry for agents, right? Because until that time, it will be hard to actually and kind of like extend more use case, especially in DeFi, when humans or when people will start to kind of like deploy even their private wealth to a DeFi protocol that will be an agent owning and handling their treasury. You want to make sure that this agent is the OG agent, or not, is not kind of like a version of the version of the version, right? And the only way to do that, I think, in this space right now is public attestation. Like it will be very hard to distinguish like how like from I'm speaking about from not from the developer's perspective, from the user agent consumer
Mm-hmm.
perspective, and that's why I think it's so important that you need to start to have some kind of like agent registry so that you are able to distinguish like those agent to the agent. But I think you kind of like already answer like, so what are the gaps that you see right now that are still missing? Could be both from the builder side and also from the agent consumer side.
On the agent consumer side, is not really their fault. Like consumer is almost never the consumer's fault because they don't know what they want
Mm-hmm,
until
mm-hmm,
you gave them like an enough good version of what they could want. That's
mm-hmm.
a bit of a random thought process,
100%.
but
Yeah, makes sense.
okay. And on the builder side, it's just a matter of understanding. First of all, on a have like more clarity of what people need or could need. That's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm,
How not to be just cash grabs and basically forking a fork of a fork of a fork of something. The actually like
yes.
writing code. That should be the most important thing. And the last thing, it's on an infra side. Like we are, let's reconnect to the thing that we were saying before. It's like how the ecosystem in
Mm-hmm,
general is moving. I see really nice steps
mm-hmm,
on the infra perspective because what an agent needs is just a mix of everything we are working on right
mm-hmm,
now on an infra level. We need smart wallets that are basically with session keys and can abstract user experience and gas, we are starting to have some solutions for that. We need fast and reliable chains. Tons of layer twos and
mm-hmm,
layer ones are actually working on it. We need a good user base that comes from Chexes and then understand DeFi. We are actually moving to that. One thing that surprised me a lot is last week I started trying Abstract, the new chain that just launched,
yes, yes, of course. The
and I
stream, yeah.
was pretty amazed on the overall user experience because we just
Oh
a
yeah.
simple phone or even this one, guys. Let me just where
Mm-hmm,
it is.
yes.
A simple passkey
Oh yeah,
is
YubiKey.
a
Yeah, yeah.
YubiKey. You can literally have your wallets, and you don't have the pain in the ass that are passphrases. You don't need to store
Mm-hmm,
them anywhere. Is just as secure as your YubiKey or face or fingerprint. Like to get your access to your wallets, someone needs to cut your finger. They don't need to enter your PC. They need to cut your finger or cut your face. That's something a bit difficult.
yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah. I mean, sometimes yeah. I mean, there are, I think there are pro and cons. Sometimes even passkeys, like if, you kind of like fuck up, you get your phone stolen, like
Oh,
with
for this you
passkeys is
need
always
always
tricky,
need
right?
backups. I have two phones and
Exactly.
three Ubicos. So uh, as
Yeah,
you
that's smart.
keep
Yes.
secure your wallet phrases, you need to keep secure your keys because that's a bit
Yes.
like mainstream, but not your keys, not your
100%.
cryptos. You lose your keys.
100%. Yeah, of course.
So
100%. And so on the side, you kind of showed us demo the agent. So you mentioned already a little bit like what is happening next. What are you guys working on? Is there something else you want to kind of add or even show us demoing anything that you want to add that I see that we are almost on time.
oh, as right now, not really. Like I already showed
We
almost
definitely need to do a
everything.
part
So
two.
that's of course, man. I'm always here for you all guys. So for us right now, that's what we have on testnet. We are moving to mainnet,
Mhm,
and one thing to consider is that we are working in parallel on two products. It is also like a DAOs.fun version on Berachain. So
mhm,
we are
mhm,
also working on that. but that's not
Nice.
relevant to our conversation today.
Yeah.
So we will have more developments once we have our agent on mainnets and every
Hmm.
protocol
Hmm.
starts to give us like a response on Telegram, because right now everyone is locked in on their launches. So
Of course.
they don't have
Of
much
course.
time
Yes.
to call to Francesco from Bailey and telling them, look, you
Of
need to
course.
get this smart contract to connect it with this, etc., etc.
Yes. 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 Yeah. And on that definitely it's time for cooking, and especially because like either people are locked in until Denver, or they just like keep going, especially like in not just in this market, but I feel like for builders right now it's very hot. Like I'm definitely seeing a lot of like frameworks updates, not just Eliza 2.0, but what everybody is speaking about agents. I'm definitely like excited because the fact that like one of the best things that I'm seeing right now in this cycle is this kind of like smart and brain capital coming in is coming from Web2 agents verticals.
Exactly.
It's not about kind of like meme coin or just arbitrage trading bots. Like literally all these live stream that and there are all these people that are meeting, especially like building agents right now, either are coming from the Web2 space, all PhDs, very strong on with AI backgrounds, because they are coming in Web3 because of the Web3 rail nature, and that's super exciting. Or they're just very interested in building automatization and also like building kind of a structure where agent to agent can create more value prop, right? And it's very interesting because I think like this is like one of probably the biggest use case around our existence because agents always been there, but the fact that we are bringing this talent and this kind of like brain capital to Web3 on actually on an industry where data is basically fully on chain, you are unleashing like so much value for them to create on, plus the open sourcing nature too,
Yeah.
because open source nature is a scalable nature too. People can actually create right now integration for your agent too. So I think that's why it's super excited this space. And yeah, I cannot
And
like
on this, I have like some
emphasize
kind of a
anymore.
bullish metric. I think I
Hmm.
saw a post like 3 weeks ago or something, and
Hmm.
they were mentioning that right now Solidity devs are like a
Hmm.
50 or a 100 of, for example, Python developers or JavaScript developers. So imagine how much room to grow as the whole Web3 space in general, just with people coming from JavaScript, from Python, from even Rust. Like lots of people are Rust-based developers and now can move through, I don't know, to Solana or all those chains. Like getting Web2 smart, intelligent people and not just people that do leverage flash trading on a developer side is gonna be so interesting, man. And also one other
Yes.
thing, the last thing on the agent side,
Hmm.
it's cool to see also a Web2 development in that, because
Hmm.
your agent is as smart as your main SOTA LLM model.
Hmm.
So right now,
Hmm.
these past 3 weeks, we saw DeepSeeker 1, crazy, crazy intelligence reasoning model. We've
Hmm.
seen O3 mini high, and when we are gonna see O3, it's gonna blow our minds.
Oh
The new
yeah,
Gemini
yeah.
model was a bit forgettable, but still, the advancements are great. And also on the Web2 side, the more they advance, the more OpenAI
Yeah,
wins, the more we win as an agent builder.
of course.
So
Yes, 100%. Yeah, it's big. It's big. I think, yeah, that's also the beauty, right? That's also why we've been seeing agents spinning off from even stuff from like Vercel, even from the AWS side, even from, I remember like 2 years ago, there were some like MasterCard agents for payments. But the fact that in Web3 you can unleash those more use case is something super exciting. And you see also those like this kind of like brain capital coming in, right? The fact that Eliza was this kind of Solange DevRel AI agent builder, building this kind of DevRel agent, are literally all like PhD team coming from actually like from like it's so incredible and it's so actually superior as kind of like let's say vertical compared to attributing that this wave is just meme coin trading. I understand this is what it is, but the fact that this is happening right now on our shoulder and a lot of people are not seeing this wave happening, it's also like a little bit frustrating, right? And but I'm excited that there are people like you actually like continuing hands-on building, and I'm looking forward to see more and more stuff like that.
Yeah, and on this side, like we need more. Oh, okay, I don't want to brag the what I say. It's like we need more people like me
Mhm,
that are not coders but can bring in coders
mhm.
from Web 2. Because like one of my
Yes,
smartest developer
that's a good
is just
point.
a Web 2 developer that knows a shit ton of Python, is super good at
Yeah.
TypeScript, and I say I need ya, and that's what we need also in this space. Like
Yes, but this is interesting. So what is your, so how we can bring those people in Web3? Like what is kind of like
incentives,
your, what is the pitch?
incentives that there
Incentives,
is
huh?
no
Mm,
there is nothing that you can give to a developer. I mean, there is vision, but not many people can share
yeah,
their vision. The main
of
source
course.
is
Yeah,
money. If you don't give them a good money and token allocation, that's my main pitch to get developers.
yeah,
That
yeah.
you need to
Makes
give them a
sense. Makes
vision
sense.
and you
Yeah.
need to give them money. If one of those two things are missing, you're not gonna get
Mhm.
developers. Because right now,
Oh yeah,
developers working on
100%.
Google, on OpenAI, Anthropic, they are paid 500, 700K a year, even 1 million
Mm,
a year.
mm,
Why they should move here? Just because we are decentralized and we are amazing. They don't understand it. They go where money goes.
mm.
Or at least that's what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah, 100%. No, makes sense. Makes sense. I think it's probably like a mix of everything, right? And
Yeah.
I
And
think
also
also like if there is a
reusability.
limit.
Because if they learn,
Oh
for
yeah.
example, Solidity and or Viper, I don't know what are the best languages for like Web3 development, but they go to Web2
Mhm.
again, it's not like they're gonna use Solidity for anything. So that's what we need right now. We need language agnostic frameworks that can be built with wherever the Web2 market offers. Because I love Solidity, what
Mm,
is built upon it, and wherever, but it surely has its problems. And it's similar to JavaScript, they told me, or something, but we are not going to get Solidity devs from Web2 space.
yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, that's definitely it, right? And I think, yeah, think people coming from the space with different kind of value. I think probably will be perceived a little bit later, right? When actually you will see agent already, some agents winning, and you will see like kind of like even old Web2 developers coming into Web3, seeing kind of like their friends coming because you have this adding value on the builder side. Okay, sounds good. Francesco, thank you so much for your time. We definitely like need to have you like on a part two and seeing kind of like how things is going, even having some kind of like cross chain agent post
Would be
that.
really cool.
But I think having this on Vera will be it's definitely like a big adding value. Awesome. Thank you so much. Any closing word or we're good
Thank
to
you
go?
guys for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on live streams, or if you have any question whatsoever, my DMs are always open and my whole team DMs are always open. So for any question, you can just contact me.
Nice, nice. Okay, sounds good. So thanks so much, everyone, for this kind of like agent intelligence broadcasted episode. Thanks so much, Francesco. Thanks so much also for the people here behind coordinating all the call. There is a huge amount of like time to coordinate all this. We're doing a lot of those live stream, and it's super exciting to actually meet and see more agent builder in the space, and also like see also like those ecosystem leaders actually seeing what is actually is happening in the ecosystem, what are kind of like the highlights and what are the gaps. Awesome. Thank you so much, Francesco. I see you
Thank you
next time.
guys.
And